Hello! Welcome back, everybody. Now, before we get started, I just want to make something perfectly clear. I love this game. I love it so much that just saying it isn't enough to emphasize how much I love it. That's how much I love it. Still not convinced? Well, just keep watching, because today we're taking a look at Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Super Mario Bros. 3 was a critical and financial success, and I have fond memories of me playing it for the first time and just being amazed at how great it was. But Super Mario World holds a much more special place in my heart because, believe it or not, Super Mario World was the very first video game I ever played. I can still remember being 4 years old and running up to my room excited to play the game on the SNES that my aunt gave us. Playing it for what felt like hours is something I'll always get a terrible case of nostalgia for. Super Mario World was released as a launch title for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System on August 31st, 1991, around 2 months after a certain blue hedgehog began making his mark on the video game industry. But even when Sonic began threatening to take down Mario, our plucky little plumber managed to show just what the Super Nintendo could do. As a result, many Nintendo fans remained loyal to their mustachioed hero, as Super Mario World marked Mario's jump into the 4th generation of consoles. Well, I'm just rambling at this point, so does Super Mario World top its predecessor in just about every way? Yes. Yes, it does. But let's take a closer look at how exactly it manages to do so. After saving the Mushroom Kingdom from Bowser and the rest of the Koopas in Super Mario 3, Mario and Luigi needed to recuperate from their adventures. Oops, they just thought about that now. Together, they agreed that the best place to vacation was a magical place called Dinosaur Land. Because whenever I think of great vacation spots, I always think of big, hungry, dinosaur-filled islands and stuff. But while Mario and Luigi reclined on the beach for a relaxing nap, Princess Toadstool disappeared, apparently seized by evil forces. You don't know that. She could have just gone to the bathroom or something, or like into the forest to pick berries, or, anything. I guess evil forces are alright too. After searching for hours for their missing friend, Mario and Luigi came upon an enormous egg in the forest. Suddenly, the egg hatched. A giant egg in an island full of dinosaurs? What a shocker. Suddenly, the egg hatched, and out popped a young dinosaur named Yoshi, who proceeded to tell Mario and Luigi a sad tale of how his dinosaur pals were sealed in similar eggs by a group of monstrous turtles. "Monstrous turtles?" exclaimed Luigi. "Bowser and his bunch have returned." You don't know that. For all we know, it could be the Ninja Turtles or something. It was 1991, and the first movie was already out, and the second movie was coming out too. It could have been like a licensing thing. Mario slowly nodded his head in agreement, and, along with Luigi and Yoshi, set off across Dinosaur Land to find the princess and to free Yoshi's friends. As they began their journey, Yoshi handed Mario a beautiful cape.
"This may help you,"
Yoshi said.
"Some say it has magical powers."
Oh, that's cool. With a little luck and help from a magic cape, our hardy crew can defeat the 7 worlds of Bowser's crazy Koopa critters. Many locations are well hidden, so explore everywhere and try everything. Not all locations have to be explored to rescue the dinosaurs and save Princess Toadstool, but there are many starry treasures to be found in far-reaching places. You'll need to search all areas to find what kinds of treasures are there in Super Mario World. Yay. Now, in all fairness, the plot isn't exactly as engaging as Mario 3's story was, which isn't really saying that much, but nevertheless. However, as we've already established, I don't give a Goomba's rump about story in video games, so this doesn't really bother me that much. But what about the gameplay? Well, to put it simply, Super Mario World plays identically to its predecessor. Just get Mario from point A to point B, avoid a couple obstacles, and grab a few coins and power-ups along the way. One thing you'll notice is that none of the power-ups introduced in Super Mario Bros. 3 make a return. I'm sure you might be thinking, that sounds really lame. But honestly, it doesn't really bother me that much, because this game manages to make up for that by introducing new power-ups, such as the P-Balloon, which really makes me hope to see Mario flying down 34th Street in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade sometime soon, as well as the single greatest power-up in Super Mario history, the Cape Feather. I absolutely adore the Cape Feather. Touching it gives Mario a handy little cape that lets him fly through the skies with the D-pad and use an unbelievably reliable spin attack. Think of it as like the Super Leaf from Mario 3, only better.
Yeah, I said it.
I loved using the Cape Feather as a kid. Even if I didn't know how to make Mario fly back then, I always loved using the spin attack. There's also this horse-looking dinosaur thing known as T-Yoshi-Saur Munchakoopas, better known to the world as Yoshi. Sometimes hitting blocks will cause an egg to pop out, where it then hatches into a Yoshi that Mario can ride on. Yoshi is simply awesome. He can eat enemies, pummel them into oblivion, he can fly, spit fireballs, and he can even be used to save yourself from near death, even if it does make you feel a little bit guilty for killing him. But hey, you can just hatch another one. It's all good. Another thing I love is that little gray box at the top of the screen. Remember in Super Mario Bros. 3 where you could save power-ups in an inventory to use for later? This little gray box behaves very similar to that. Whenever Mario grabs a power-up, any power-up that Mario already had on him at that time appears in the box. So whenever Mario takes a hit, the power-up falls out of the box ready to save you from losing a life. You can even press the select button to make it come out whenever you feel it's time for Cape Mario to become Fire Mario, or vice versa. Now that's all well and good, but if you ask me, the best possible thing I can think of when it comes to this game is the controls. In my opinion, Super Mario World has the best control I've ever experienced in a Mario game. Ever. The finickiness of the original Super Mario Bros. And the floatiness of Mario 3 are both gone. Mario handles phenomenally in this game. It's super smooth, you can control Mario's jumps in midair perfectly, and his momentum is just right, so that he doesn't come to a complete stop when you let go of the D-pad. Now it feels like Mario can do just about anything, even look up. That's cool, right? Well, anyway, like the previous games, levels are jam-packed with enemies. Some of them old, some of them new, some of them are pretty scary, and the rest are just variations of regular enemies. For new enemies, we have Charging Chucks, giant Koopa football fans who really aren't very bright. Yeah, just keep walking into that wall, I'm sure it'll work great. There are also Magic Koopas who very rarely ever appear, but use magical powers that can sometimes be tricky to avoid. Most underground levels have bats known as swoopers. Their name sums them up pretty well, as they swoop down and try to kill you. Underwater levels feature Rip Van Fish, a sleepy little guy who wakes up whenever you go near it and starts to chase you, until he eventually falls back to sleep again. Not even a music box can keep him counting sheep. There's also Torpedo Ted, who looks and acts almost suspiciously like Bullet Bill. I don't understand the comparison, but wait. Bullet Bill, Torpedo Ted, Bill and Ted, Bill and Ted, Bill and... I got nothing. Super Mario World brings back the world map system from before. The Koopalings are back, stationed within the towers at the end of each world, but as you progress through the game, you start to discover that the worlds aren't separated into different sections like they were in Super Mario Bros. 3. Now, all the worlds are connected in a way so that you can just walk from one world to the next. Some of you might be thinking this is a really pointless little detail to bring attention to, but I really love this change. Having all the worlds be connected together really makes Dinosaur Land feel like a really big world in itself. And you want to know what I think helps to emphasize that? The levels themselves. You're probably noticing the red and yellow dots by now. Well, that's not just some random bug. Levels marked with a yellow dot only have one exit, but levels marked with a red dot have multiple exits. Let's talk about these for a second. You got the normal exit, of course, but the secret exit can often take you to an area on the world map that you wouldn't even think was there. And sometimes finding secret exits within levels can take you down a path that leads to a fortress level, a switch palace, or whatever these interesting looking star icons are about. Some levels have red, yellow, green, or blue colored box outlines. Switch palaces contain giant switches that can make corresponding colored blocks appear where the outlines would normally be. Finding all 4 switch palaces is important if you want to go for 100% completion. Ghost houses are certainly the creepiest new addition. These places are like giant spooky labyrinths with ghosts waiting to hunt you down and take away your lives. So for these levels, you're really gonna have to think of ways to get past the obstacles waiting for you around every corner. I loved the ghost houses growing up. They always managed to legitimately scare me, or at the very least creep me out. With that eerie music playing and all the boos coming towards me, it got me so tense. But it was a blast playing through them and uncovering hidden secrets. Much like the towers, the hidden fortresses found in different worlds have a boss battle waiting for you. Not against a Koopaling, but instead you have to fight Reznor, this giant rhino thing. The way this battle works is pretty simple. Just punch him and his clones from underneath and there you go. Thing is, once you kill 2 of him, the bridge beneath you starts to fall apart. So you'll have to either manage to kill Reznor before the bridge collapses completely, or make your way onto the spinning wheel and kill the rest of Reznor's copies that way. Now let's talk about these cool little star icons. Some levels have keys that you'll need to bring to a keyhole in order to open up an entrance to the Star World. There are 5 of them in the whole game, and they can easily be used to skip to further parts of the game. The Star World has levels of its own that also contain keyholes. Once you find them all, another star icon appears at the top of this mountain located in the middle of the world. Taking it will warp you to the Special World, home to the absolute hardest levels in the entire game, as well as some of the most 90s sounding level names in any video game ever. Gnarly, tubular, way cool, awesome, groovy, mondo, outrageous, and funky. So I guess with the whole Ninja Turtles licensing thing, I guess they were on the localization team too, maybe? And don't worry, none of these levels are as hard as the miserable experience I had to go through in the Lost Levels. But if there's any level that comes close to being on par with Lost Levels, it's... This level is anything but tubular. I hate this level with a burning passion. There are barely any platforms, so you have to use the P-balloon for a majority of the level. Problem is, there are way too many charging chucks. A lot of them are situated on top of question blocks, and they almost never stop throwing footballs at you. Once you get hit, your balloon power wears off and you die. And even if you land on a question block to save yourself from dying, you won't be able to reach the next question block to get another P-balloon. So either way, you're up Soda Lake without a paddle. When I got to this level for the very first time, I had 99 lives going in, and came out beating it with my live count somewhere in the 70s or 60s. But recently, I played it again for fun, and surprisingly, I got it on my first try. I'm not sure how I managed to do it. I guess I just became immune to its frustrating design. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the only minor nitpick I can possibly give about this game, because everything else is just way too good. For one thing, the level design is absolutely brilliant. It keeps you on your toes by throwing some tricky platforming sections at you. The addition of secret exits gets you thinking about ways of locating it, thereby helping you develop different strategies on how to strive through the journey. And each level is distinctive, memorable, and just so much fun, except tubular. The music? Good lord, what a phenomenal soundtrack. Each and every single piece of music in this game is very well constructed, highly unforgettable, and incredibly catchy. What's more impressive about it is the fact that most of the songs are just variations of one song, and yet it doesn't come off as repetitive. If you ask me to hum the theme from a particular world or level, I could hum it to you in a heartbeat. It's a great soundtrack. Oh, and the boss battles are pretty fun too. I forgot to script this part, so I'm just throwing that in for a bonus. So, overall, what's my verdict on Super Mario World? Well, what do you think? Normally, I don't believe in there ever being a perfect game, but Super Mario World is a perfect game. Everything about it is absolutely wonderful. The gameplay, the level design, the music, the graphics, the atmosphere, the world itself, everything about this game makes me smile. Because of this, not only is Super Mario World my favorite Mario game of all time, but it's also my favorite game in general. For the things it improved from its predecessors, the fun I've had playing it for all these years, and the memories it left me from when I was a kid. I would probably suggest getting it for the Game Boy Advance, but you're better off avoiding it. Sure, the option to switch between Mario and Luigi with a press of the R button is cool, but the sound design is just terrible. Listen to the Valley of Bowser theme. It sounds like the bass is trying to fart itself out of the speakers. Still, that doesn't affect my love for the original game in any way, and I highly recommend you check it out. I can go on and on about why I love this game so much, but if I did, then this video would probably go on for about 3 hours. So I'm going to save you some time and promote my next video. Next time we're going to cover the sequel, or prequel, to this video game masterpiece. How will it hold up? Well, be sure to stay tuned for my review of Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Until then, this is Mark, aka Super Smash 3DS, bidding you all a smashing farewell.